What's up, Crashed It Nation? This is Jonathan Wood. This is episode number 4, or episode number 1 on season number 4. It's been a while since I've been out this. We've got some new equipment, and the boys haven't been able to join me yet. I don't know if they will today or not. If you would just comment on the stream, let me know if you can see this. I'm trying a new thing with a whole new program. So we're going to give a couple seconds here for someone to at least comment. We're trying to do a multi-stream platform. We're going to be trying to stream on Facebook and YouTube simultaneously, and I should be able to see any comments that come through up on the screen. But it's been an awesome year. Yep, awesome. So we got YouTube's working. So it's been an awesome year leading up to this in the off season. I know a lot of you guys have been bugging me to start the podcast back up, but last year at the end of the year, I felt like I was doing a injustice to each and every one of you guys. So this year, I cranked it up a notch. We're going to add to this podcast. It's going to be better than it has ever been before, and first off, we're going to have podcast every week. Last year, I was very inconsistent on when the podcast was going to be. I was stepping on other podcast toes. I want to say that I know a lot of you guys listen to, and I didn't want to do that. So we're going to either go live on Tuesdays. For right now, it's going to be Tuesdays nights. And then later on in the summer, it's going to revert to a Sunday evening show. Just so everybody can, we're not stepping on any toes there. And there's a lot to cover that happens at these events. We had some changes this year with the Lucky Sevens promotions rules. And, they didn't make very many changes, but I was hoping one of them guys would come on and talk about the few changes, but they're busy, so they couldn't make it on yet. But there's just a few minor rules, and we seen it opening night this weekend. We seen a lot of people that were able to compete with pre-ran cars, and in the fresh cars that did come, they competed just as well. We didn't see too much getting tore up, other than the ones that hit in the center at full speed, but on the Demolition Derby side, I think most of the guys I've talked to around the Derby community that, go to the Lucky Seven shows and come to the shows that I'm usually at, they're happy with the rules that they're putting out here at Lucky Sevens Promotions, and that's what we like to hear. If you guys have any questions about the rules or anything, be sure to contact Jacob or Joshua, because yeah, Joshua, Craig, we're actually having one. Be sure to contact them. Is anyone watching on Facebook, or is it just YouTube? But be sure to contact them. They're going to answer any questions they can. But we're getting ready for an exciting year of figure eight racing, Demolition Derby. Next weekend, I'm going to be at Lucas Oil Speedway. We're doing like the Easter Buster 1000. It's going to be a fun event. I know, I think there's a couple derbies going on. I think Ava's this week, and I can't remember where the other one is. But today I really wanted to come on here and just play with the new system and see how everything's working. There's some new classes for Lucky Sevens promotions. They changed over the gut and go to more of a hobo build, to where you can add a plate. And then there's just all kinds of stuff on the website. Go check out the website. I know earlier we talked about Lucky Sevens promotion is still accepting sponsorships. I got a couple messages today. I always revert them over to Jacob and Joshua, because I do not mess with the sponsorship stuff. I've had some people reach out and ask if they could be sponsors of the Crashed It stuff, and sure, we can set something up. If you want to be a sponsor of anything, just we can set something up. You just tell me what you want to do, and we'll make it work. But we are planning to do a podcast every week, and that before I started this, I wanted to make sure my schedule allowed it, because last year, guys, I tell you, the one thing I wanted to be was more consistent, but I was just too busy. And that's why I haven't did a podcast in, I think, 5 months. And what better way to do the podcast today, just to make sure I've got everything working and show you guys the new setup, what to expect to see. We are going to have guests on next week. Tonight I do not have any guests planned. We will have guests next week. But one thing I wanted to do was show you kind of how it's going to look, and we're going to recap opening night at Russellville, Missouri. Came in, my daughter played softball all day long. I was sunburnt as all get out, but sun's out, the guns have to be out. So I kept I kept the sleeveless shirt on, and I had a nice shirt, Lucky 7 shirt, but I didn't want to get it all muddy. I want to shout out Dylan Cardwell right off the bat. Thank you very much. He, for those that are joining just to watch the podcast, he took over and he announced for me while I got to ride with my daughter. And I thought that was I was really excited that he was able to do that for me, because those are memories that are made. Any of you guys that are listening that got a kid that's 10 to 15 years old, you should try to really think about that youth class, because that was a blast. I mean, last year, Rayleigh was 10 years old, and I'm telling you, she was scared out there on the track. But this year, there was a whole new animal that had awakened, and she was ready to become a beast out there. And she didn't let off the entire time. And I, even whenever we hit the tires, she was still spinning the wheels. So, awesome. Thank you, Corey. Now I know it's working on Facebook too. But it was just a fun experience. So, Tech, I didn't get to talk to much of you guys as I got there a little later than I anticipated. It looked like Tech went over pretty well. I talked to a few people, and they were really happy with the way Tech went. Seen some new builds, and we got to see some old ones that hit the track as well. And it looked like the pre-ran cars that I'd seen, most of the people had worked on these cars. Sometimes you get to the track and you see pre-rans that are, that probably look like my daughter's car that had a bucket full of leaves in it, and you could tell no one touched it. And most of the cars I looked at, you could tell that there was some work done prior to the show, and I think that transitioned onto the track. We couldn't ask for a better night. The weather was an amazing, it was perfect. No wind, really. Usually that first show, them transponders are blowing around like crazy, the readers that are above the track, but we did not have that issue. And I think a lot of people showed up to race and just to, get back in the groove of it. Right off the bat, the first, event, have you say, of the evening was the youth class. And so when the youth were going out, right off the bat, that black and red car, let me get Joshua sent me the stuff here. So Lonnie Mitchell, he jumped out to an early lead, and, and as you can see, I was really impressed with Camden Tobin. He didn't miss a beat. Camden, he ended up getting second place in this event, but Gavin Stark had some tough luck in the 28S. Really sorry, Clayton Tibergen. My daughter, she was turning, but as you can see, we took them out right here, and we didn't mean to do that, but I told her you probably got one coming from that one. But shout out to old Gatlin Folks. I think I was really impressed with the way Gatlin drove this race. His car seemed to be hooking up well. Gatlin has been competitive in the last couple of years, and I think this year he's also going to be competitive again. Colt, he got his new car. I talked to Colt a little bit. Colt was driving the car he won on the raffle. He got for Christmas. But Jacob said he just wasn't letting the car come around in the corner enough, and he's trying to keep it too straight. But I think he was feeling it out, and I'm going to be honest, I thought Colt was going to put it right into the wall or into the tire, but he never did. So it seemed like he was really just trying to, gain a comfort level with that car. There was some big shots out there on the track from in the car. My daughter put a pretty good shot on the tire right here, and I wasn't ready for that one. I was too busy trying to tell her, get over. And but yeah, so Gatlin Folks is your winner. In second place, Camden Tobin with a solid run. He got better and better last year as the season went on, and he's another 11-year-old that went out there and just did an amazing job. Hayden Kempker, he's back off the burners from his hiatus from last year. He got a solid top 4. Coming in third was Lonnie Mitchell. Didn't miss a beat out there, and there's just some good competition. Caleb White, he was able to get top 5 as well. Colt Wood was in 6th. Rayleigh got 7th, and Gavin got 8th, and Clayton got 9th. So it was a good race overall. I was excited to see all the youth. Special shout out to old Clinton, the Hitman Hartley. He donated $50 right off the bat to the youth. And then also JP Lawn Care with Jordan Piter came and donated an extra $100 towards the youth. So we had an extra $150 towards the youth. First race of the year, and them kids were gunning. But, I walked around for a brief moment as I was trying to hurry up to get back to the announcing stand. And I'll tell you, I seen a bunch of them kids climbing out of the car, and they all are smiling ear to ear. And, I posted my GoPro video up on my Facebook page. I had one in Colt's car. It didn't work. I don't know what's going on with that one. I'll probably just get a whole nother GoPro so we can have 2 going. But you could hear her. All she was worried about was getting new tires the second the race got over. She wanted some grippy tires, she said. So we're going to work on that. But, walking through the pits and seeing all them kids smiling and ear to ear, just had a blast out there. And, those are moments and memories that them kids will never forget throughout their life. I look back at my childhood. If you're a new person viewing this, maybe you don't know, but our whole childhood, we were always out in the cars, out in the field. And, my kids don't get to do that. They don't get to go out in the fields and tear stuff up, but this is one way I can give them that kind of same feeling. And the main thing that I'm taking away of all this youth class is, the friendships that are made. I see all these kids that becoming their friends, and the fact that, it puts the parents a little more at ease whenever, you've had a kid that's been racing for, 3 to 5 years before they even get their license. It's a lot easier to sit in the passenger seat and not have to worry as much. And I feel like whenever it comes that time, I'm going to be pretty confident in my daughter's driving ability of going down a street, because I've seen what she can do on the dirt track, and I can't wait to see what happens throughout this year, because she said she wants to win one. And that's what, hearing that, for me, that was one of the best things I could hear. I was just on cloud 9 the rest of the night. And all you drivers that showed up to the show, we want to thank you and all your fans. Without you guys, this show wouldn't be possible. I wouldn't be able to, have this little side gig going. And we know you guys put it all on the line. And throughout this episode, you're going to see some things that happened throughout the night that was just awesome from a fan perspective. And for me, as a figure eight driver that used to be, I had a great appreciation of, what else took place on the track. First night out, sometimes you never know what you're going to get. Last year, I think we had a little more cars, but I can tell you the quality of the drivers that were there, wouldn't change it for nothing. You guys are rock stars. And you guys drove the wheels off of it. You put on a show. Going into the heats, heat one pulls on the track. We had, the top two move on. But in each one of these heat races, each and every one of these drivers drove their hearts out. I mean, we had stuff getting junked, and there was some tough heats. In this first heat, we had Dylan White, Alan Fisher, Clinton Hartley, Corey Burton, Blaine Tobin, and Robbie Kelly. All you guys, when I seen that lineup sheet, I said, this is going to be a good one. All six of these drivers can drive, and I knew Robbie was in a new car. And a lot of these guys know their car. And I think that's why we seen Robbie right here. He kind of fell off the pace a little. He's getting used to that new car. And Dylan White not missing a beat coming out to the front. And I just seen a lot of veteran drivers, and everyone was kind of filling out their stuff, getting back into the seat. I've had people tell me, I thought I was going to hang it up after that first race. But, we seen them throughout the night progress. But, man, we had a nice three-car battle between Alan Fisher, Corey Burton, and Clinton Hartley. They were all racing so hard for that third-place spot. And also, Dylan led this one cover to cover, though. No one could touch him. He's just gone. And you see Blaine did catch him at the end of the race, but he kind of gets held up, and Dylan just soars. He just sets sail, kind of like old Captain Corey did last year. But this one was definitely Dylan's race. He took home the checkered flag, coming in second. And your final transfer spot was none other than the 13K of Blaine Tobin. So overall, it was a really good heat race. We didn't see any big collisions, and as a driver, that's coming into the first race. That's and your first heat. That's what you're hoping for. You're hoping to get through it. Get the bugs worked out of your car. Find out, something may have changed over the winter, or it just maybe you getting back into the saddle. Coming into the second heat. We had Hunter Bish, our youth champion from last year, getting the pole position start. Jordan Piter, Michael Belcher, John Waller was out there. Brenton Holosharp, the number 9, he was out there, and then James Fisher. I was talking to this guy driving the silver number 9. That was Brenton Holosharp. That car was a complete car on Friday. He sent me a Snapchat and said, I'm going to build it. And that just goes to show you can still throw one together and compete with these guys. But Jordan, he came out there and did what he does, and he had a really good race going. But luck would have it later on in the race, I believe a tie rod or something broke. And he kind of was plowing dirt at the end there. But James Fisher had a GoPro in his car, and I don't know if anyone's seen the video on Facebook or not, but it shows him doing a complete 360. And right here, this is the move. He's backing up. He spins his car completely around. And I just thought that was impressive, and it was kind of cool to see from the inside of the of his car. Thanks, Corey, for the Snapchat. Just got that live. we're just working out the new bugs of the system here. But congrats still, Hunter Belcher and James Fisher, they had a hell of a race going right here. They were door to door with each other, and right here is where Piders. Can anyone see the video? Is the video playing on the screen? If you can't see the video on the screen, there's supposed to be a video playing. The video of the in-car camera is on Facebook on James Fisher's screen. And like I said, we will add to this. I'm just playing with this new software. There is so much more that I could do to this, but I'm still learning, and I could have 100 people on here. Thanks guys for the feedback. I really appreciate it. But it was really he blew the hydro line. Wasn't he saying that he had he wishes he had hydro steering, or was that someone else? Oh, that was John Waller. He went out there. So in this one, John Waller went out there with no power steering. Yeah, I was talking to him before the race, and John said, "Yep, the power steering line wasn't working." So it was just leaking fluid everywhere. So whenever I went out there to take videos of some cars, make a couple reels, he was telling me all about it. No power steering, and the rack was leaking like crazy, and it just happened when he got to the track. It wasn't nothing that he just missed or anything like that. It just one of those things. We had some tough luck, man. I got there. That reminded me when I got to the track as well. Hole the Flash, Rhett Kiesling, he's got a head gasket blown. And he said it just happened when he got to the track. So it's crazy. Some of that stuff is crazy. But heat number 4. There's this 3. Yeah, this is heat 3. So the 07S, that was the car that was at the car show. And I think we got a person joining us right here. Oh, let's see here. Whoops. I'm trying to get back to what I was doing here. What's up, Joshua?
What's up?
Well, this is the part that I thought I had figured out, but I don't. Sorry about that, guys. I was all right, can everybody see the video again? But all right. So this is heat number 3, Joshua, that we're getting into now. So I was telling everybody, John Summers comes out here with this is the car he had at the car show. Doing something good for the sport. And I asked him, I said, how many people stopped by and looked at that car? And he said, oh, you wouldn't believe all the people that looked at this car up at the mall. And that's good for the sport when people get out there. This hasn't been the first time someone took their car to the car show up there, but man, it's really good for the sport. But the racing action in the heat 3, man, this was it was actually a really close race. But Johnny Edgar, man, he had that car on rails throughout the whole event. What do you think about heat 3?
Oh, I think John Summers. He had one. I think he's leading a couple laps. Just ran into some traffic and made a couple poor decisions and let Corey Burton get back into the show. But yeah, I mean, it was his race to win. I think he just, sometimes the cards don't fall his way.
Yep. Yep. So transferring on from heat number 3 was Johnny Edgar, Corey Burton. Really fun race to watch, and but he just got that John Summers. He got tangled up, but I was really impressed. That's probably one of the better races I've seen him drive. It was good to see the Fergusons back out. You know, they came late. They kind of got there late, and I started seeing more cars roll in, and I got excited. It's always good to see the Ferguson bunch show up, and Robbie Kelly, he had a pretty good car. Or Robbie Crater, I meant.
Yeah, I think it's going to take him a little adjusting to get used to that car. But yeah, I was pleased to see him in a new build and be interested to see how he does from here on out. Johnny Edgar won that one, right?
Oh, yeah. He won it big time. Well, it wasn't big time, but it was, the way he drove, he definitely earned that one. I mean, it was him, and then Corey caught him at the end, but this is heat number 4 right here. Jared Snurich, Nick Long, we had Ricky Bobby, Lane Tiggerman, and Josh Craig out there. And man, how about Team IMR on this one? They pulled off the IMR sweep. Looked like Nick Long was driving, I believe that's one of Piter's old cars. So, I've always said Nick's a hell of a driver, and I can't wait to see, what happens with him. How he does with that kind of a build. It looked like he drove pretty smart throughout the night. But Austin says Nick's car's fast when he gets on it. So Austin's thinking that Nick wasn't driving as hard as he could. But
yeah, I talked to Nick after the race. He said, forgot what he said. I think a line slipped off or something like that. That was an easy fix. Just needed to go back to the shop and get it fixed, but make a few adjustments he wanted to change from Piter's setup. I think he'll be all right in that ride.
Oh yeah, but congrats to
I don't know if that's the car I drove or not in the old officials race, but that thing probably driving Miss Daisy after I've been in
it. Yeah, I think that is the car that you were in. But we got to see a bunch of new cars, drivers in new cars in this. Lane Tibergen, he was in a new ride. We had, how can you forget, Ricky Bobby out there in his new ride, pulls it right off the track. Right here, you can see him. He just goes right off the track, loads it up.
Right onto the trailer.
But overall on that one, I figured, I watched Lane throughout the night, and he's definitely got some learning to do. You could tell that one didn't drive near the way the old one did. And I think I seen him spin out like 3 or 4 times in the B main. But
he's got a new steering setup on that takes some getting used to. There's definitely a learning curve with them new setups. But yeah, it was good to see IMR with the sweep and kind of, out of the ordinary cars, not the typical Cavaliers and Grand Ams or whatever K-frame GMs that you see.
For some reason. Okay. Well,
Ricky Bobby, I talked to him afterwards trying to get to the load or to run the Consi, because I think there was like in this Consi there's, I don't know, like 5 or 6 cars that were going to pull out there. He goes, well, Josh, let me tell you, that car just needs a few things. I'm going to load it up and go fix it at home, and then next week there.
like I said, I'm learning this. I was trying to switch it into the stage a little bit here, but uh, I've got some getting used to on this new system, but I'm liking it so far. Um, I just wanted to load a few videos on there to show. So that's all the ones I had loaded onto the stage or whatever they call it. But um,
It's pretty sweet. I like that.
Heat 5, we had Chad Bish, Landon Dow, Dylan White, Rhett Kiesling, Josh Powers, Nathan Dummermuth, Michael Belcher out there. And this was a really fun race to watch. For me, watching Chad Bish, he's the hot shot. He got her done. Landon got second, but Dylan put up a fight for third, and Nate was right there. I don't quite remember what happened with Nate, but yeah, it was a close. I felt like it was a pretty close race, and Nate looked like he was starting to really get on it towards the end of the race. So I didn't mean to put him on mute. Can you hear Joshua? Can you talk now?
Yeah, I put myself on mute.
Oh,
He's so ate up.
I thought maybe I put on the exit, and he's probably talking about whenever I switch screens because I think it shuts you off because I was trying to just put it into this 2-person view, but it's hard to explain how this thing works, but it's I'm learning that you can't do that, but overall I appreciate, like I said, I felt like they had a really good battle there, but Chad Bish was your winner. Landon Dow come out second. I talked to Landon, and he said they worked on that car so hard the last couple weeks just to get that one out. Wes Jordan asking, who has a car for sale? Getting the itch, huh? We miss seeing you out there, Wes. Well, I do.
Jordan Piner's got a W body for sale. Probably get it in.
Yeah, you like riding them W bodies. But that brought us to
Wesley too.
That brought us to Heat 6. Heat 6 was Youngmeyer, the 101 of Bryce Wather. We had Garrett Ferguson, Dylan Cardwell, and I believe that was Dylan's new car that he brought to the race, and Charlie Burns and whoever was driving that M5 car. I can't remember.
Thomas McCormick.
Yeah, Thomas McCormick was, but it says bumper won't pass. But in that one, we seen Youngmeyer.
Bish's debut for the big boy class here, right?
Who's that?
Hunter Bish.
Yeah.
Rolled it over, I think, right? This was the
No, that was in the B. No, this one was when old Charlie Burns, he was out to prove point. He was just pushing cars all over the place. And I don't know if that M5 guy was running with them, but they were hitting each other every corner. I'm watching the video right now on YouTube. But Matt Youngmeyer and Dylan Cardwell kind of ran away with this one, them two. together. Dylan looked pretty comfortable in his Swiper's disc golf. Old Chucky had the land yacht moving. Yeah, he did. That was a big old boat, but he was flat flying around there, and he was all wound up. So, but Dylan Cardwell looked really good in his new car, and looked like he felt very comfortable in it. Yeah, Matt Youngmeyer drove a heck of a race, getting the top two. That brought us to the B mains, B feature number 1. This was the Slugfest. One that I could make reels all day off of. I could make probably 6 reels off this one B main. Alan Fisher took 3 crazy hard shots in this one. I already made a reel of the first one. The one right in the center where him and Michael Belcher met head on, headlight to headlight, corner of the bumper to corner of the bumper. One was going one way through the center, the other was going the other way, and you could see both front ends shift over. I'm talking Alan Fisher's bumper started at his frame rail, and by the time that it ended shifting, you could see it in line with his passenger wheel. That's how much that car shifted. And he said, yeah, it's junk. old Papa over there, their ambassador of figure 8 racing himself, of the Fisher Farms racing. I'm telling you, he said it's junk. He said, I'm looking forward to building another one for him, helping out with it. So, but coming away with the win, Hunter Bish mid-race rolls this thing over. And at that time, he wasn't in the lead, but he ended up coming back and winning. His car felt and sounded like it was running on a couple less cylinders or something, but it wasn't running right at all. You could totally hear it out of that expensive header that he was telling me about. Didn't sound too good, Hunter, in that one, but sounded good before the race. Yeah, his dad was telling me, old Chad was saying, yeah, that dang header's so loud you couldn't hear them each other in that car anyway. So, but Alan Fisher, he gets smoked, goes a lap, breaks his car or something. He takes another hit that breaks his car on the corner. And then as he's sitting there, old Robbie Kelly comes with another, breaks himself on Alan's car. But I was like, geez, what a rough night for Alan Fisher. Oh, man, it was crazy. There will be a couple more reels that come from that race, I promise you.
Talk about a tough night. I think that was Jordan Piter was in that one, right? Or was Jordan?
Well, that was Robbie Kelly.
Driving Jordan's car.
Yeah, that he bought. Yeah.
Yeah, I was sitting on the trailer, and Chad was standing in front of me whenever Hunter rolled, and there was, like a bunch of other people that was really concerned about Hunter. It was first night out, and he put it on its stop. Chad was just sitting there laughing at him, and I was walking back, and I seen Tiffany sitting there, and she was walking back to Hunter's car, and it's like, were you nervous? She goes, no, Chad used to do that shit all the time. And then I was a little bit further. I seen Chad's dad walking down, and goes, the apple doesn't fall very far from the tree, does it? So that must just run in the family there.
Yeah. Oh, I guess Jordan was in this race. Yeah, Jordan Piter was in that race as well. But
yeah, I think he was winning that race whenever.
He broke or something. But old Clinton Hartley, he probably had the best car running on the track at the end of that race. Almost got it done. You know, his buddy was down in Mexico, so he just didn't have luck on his side this time. Old Chilton and Wardenhausen were down in Mexico or something. So Clinton probably wasn't feeling at home without his crew there. So
yeah, I think he was one corner away from punching his ticket to the feature. They would have been tickled to death.
oh yeah, well, we all seen what happens when he drives a good car. So he made the A at Fulton like it was nothing. So we all know. But so in this one, we only took one first place or nothing. And I love those kind of races because everybody just lays it on the line. And you talk about, I looked over right after, Hunter rolled over. I looked over at the crowd just to see the reaction at the crowd. And everybody is on their feet. They're concerned and pumped. And they let him hear it, when he got back in that car. It was pretty awesome to see him come home win. And when he took that checkered, that whole crowd just was cheering for him. He did the old bump and run at the end, and they just loved every bit of it. So B main number 2, that was a pretty good one. This was the one that had Dustin Ferguson, Ricky Bobby scratch, just Ethan Daniels, Lane Tiggerbin, and Robbie Crater and Alan Fisher was driving Dylan's car. I didn't know that from the announcer stand. I had about probably 7 people message me, that's Alan Fisher, because I was just naming names of people it could be. Never said Alan, but by the end of the race, I probably had 5 messages saying, oh, that was Alan Fisher. But Dustin Ferguson, man, he drove a heck of a race. He was really sliding it into the corners, rolling through rolling out. By the time he crossed that tire, his front end was pointed straight ahead, and he was heading to the net down the stretch. And it looked like it was working really good for him. Alan Fisher looked like he just ran out of time to me. Couldn't catch him.
Yeah, I was walking back to the pits to check on Alan after the consi, make sure he was doing okay. And about that time, he was running back-to-backs, and I seen him getting out of the car, and he went straight from his car to Dylan's car. And I seen James there, his brother. I was like, James, are you going to run that car in the consi? He goes, yeah, that crazy ass, he's got all busted up elbow. The blood was everywhere, and he's just jumped in Dylan's car and wanted to go have some more fun and want another shot at making punching stick to the gay.
That's the passion right there. The passion of these drivers. For any of you guys that just watch this podcast and don't really follow, what these drivers are going through, that just speaks to the driver's passion that we get to see. And we're blessed with each and every show that Lucky Sevens puts on, or the derbies that we go to. You see the passion across the country, hands down. So it was just awesome to see him jump in, because I was kind of worried about him and I was worried about both of them, him and Belcher, when they hit. But that wasn't the only hard hit of the night, let me tell you. Because this next B main, so Dustin won that one. This next B main was another, in my mind, it was pretty comical to watch. Because I seen the battle, and you guys will get to see the battle because there will be another reel. I don't know if you caught it, Joshua, but we had another demolition derby on the figure 8 track over in the far corner where the entrance is. And I recorded every bit of it because it was awesome. And I quit recording for a lap and a half because old Dylan White, had some anger issues. Him and old Charlie Burns were backing it up and sending it forward. It was awesome. And the best part about this whole thing was, so Charlie just takes off after he gives him a good shot and goes back to racing, and Dylan's like looking, he's like, I'm gonna give him a good one. And that's when, I'm sorry, John Waller, but that's what happened. Dylan was not intentionally hitting you head on in the center. That was him going after Charlie Burns and missing. But so he was trying to T-bone him pretty good, and he missed and hit John Waller head on. And I was like, oh, someone needs to go check on John Waller and his passenger, because I see John kind of like grabbing his arm and his shoulder and checking if he was still in the car. And his buddy was kind of leaning over, didn't even know if he was awake. But it was a heck of a hit. That'll be another reel, promise you that right there. But it was freaking crazy. But coming away with the win in this one, Nathan Dummerman is just shooting gaps that I haven't seen him shoot in probably 2-3 years. He was threading that needle like a surgeon. And I mean, it was interesting to watch. I talked to Corey Burton. He said he was riding with him. He said he was shooting gaps I would have never shot. And I believe it, man. I watched that. I didn't really catch it until I started watching the video back. And I said, yeah, he really wanted that one. So.
Yeah, he was man on a mission. He's putting out some quick lap times in that Consi. But I totally missed Charlie and Dylan going at it.
Oh, it was awesome.
I mean, yeah. Sucks that probably who got the worst end of the stick was John Waller. I mean, that hit was freaking.
I felt really bad for John, and I know he's going to listen to this, and he's going to probably watch that footage and say, holy crap, that is what happened, because he didn't see it coming, man. He was just following Charlie through the center. Next thing he know, there's a guy parked in his front end. Tough luck. I hope the car is all right, because it was a head-on shot.
I know Dylan's is probably not. I think that car he was driving was pretty bent up to start with, I'd say.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's got to be junk now. But I think that's the one that I've said it's got to be junk now a couple times, and he keeps pulling it back out and making things work.
Yeah, so that set up the A main, and let's talk about, something that threw me off before. I was having radio problems through the whole first probably 5 or 6 heat races. So I didn't know nothing that was really going on down in the pits. And, before the race, I guess, or at some point in time, the drivers were told that there was going to be a lucky dog. Or was that just something we came up throughout the race? How'd that play out? How'd that come about, that lucky dog?
Yeah, we just, trying something different. We didn't just come up with it mid race and try and get somebody in. That was announced at the drivers meeting that, anytime we have 6 heats and, it gives us 15 cars, and then if we get a lucky dog in there, it gives us a, even 16. So it's just anyone who didn't make the feature, the fastest lap out of anyone who didn't make the feature, and ended up being the baby shark himself. He was pretty excited whenever he found that out, but I don't know if it worked out for the best for him. He got the short end of the stick a bunch of times there in the feature.
Oh, that first corner, he comes around it, and Dylan White's going the wrong way and hits him head on. Just going, holy smokes. He probably wished he was not the lucky dog.
Yeah.
but man, that A main was awesome. The track, let's talk about the track. That track just never lets us down. It seems like that thing looked to be just perfect come A main time. I mean, I think it could have been a little more slick through the corners, maybe just to let the cars sling around, but it looked like everybody that wasn't rutting out. And I was walking through the pits. There's, it used to be a lot of people were running V treads, and I walked through the pits, and a lot of them guys, they changed them tires. They changed their tires for the A main they're adjusting to the track conditions, and they found they get a lot more traction with a wider tire, and boy, it's really, them tracks are just, they look like smooth as could be. And I talked to some of the drivers, and they said, man, the track was awesome. Right here, Johnny Edgar, he's saying the track was perfect. Car hasn't hooked up that well forever. And Johnny, I gotta say, man, you were on rails that whole race. You had a really good battle. I took a notation on this battle. There's a 4-lap section of this race in the A main where you were battling Corey Burton door to door. You guys were racing each other really clean, and it was really fun for me to watch. You guys just inside, outside. It looked like you guys were just, slide jobbing each other and racing each other real clean, and it was fun to watch. It was really fun to watch, and congrats to you for finishing third place. Hadn't been on the podium in a while, and it had to feel good. And I felt like, to me, that rolled right over from last year's perfect attendance race. If you look back to Fulton, Johnny Edgar had a car to beat, man. He drove a hell of a race in Fulton in that perfect attendance race. Or maybe it was at the end. I can't remember which race it was, but it was one of them. But man, Dylan Cardwell, he got out to the lead pretty early in this one, and yeah, they definitely made some upgrades this year that I've noticed as well. The lighting was a lot better. From a video standpoint, I could really do whatever I wanted with the videos due to the better lighting. So that was awesome.
Yeah,
and the sound system is getting a little better. I think he was working on an amp or something, he said, because if you turned up like the announcer's table too much, it would like cut out a lot. But if I turned it down a little bit, it would working really perfect. But I tried turning it up later tonight, and it seemed to work just as good. So I think they're figuring out stuff there for sure.
Yeah, and they keep investing back into their facilities and making it better. And they reworked the track over the winter, so that seemed to help. I mean, their tracks always seem to be pretty good, but I mean, there was hardly anything that we had to do to it. Just scrape it off in the intermission and put a little water on it before the feature, and we were golden. So,
yeah. Yeah, so Dylan kind of, he took off in this one, but, he was not leaving anybody. Corey Burton came from quite a ways back. At one point in that video, if you watch that on the YouTube or wherever, if you watch that feature, Dylan about lapped Corey. And by the end of the race, Corey was on his bumper.
Corey let him win.
Yeah, But I mean, if you're being honest, I told Dylan right after, I said, yeah, he could have pushed you right out of the way and took that one.
I mean, he had, I want to say 3 opportunities where, bumper was on the quarter, or could have, throttled out of the corner and passed him in the intersection. He just stayed on his back bumper. I mean, how good of a captain is Corey to let Dylan Cardwell win a race?
Oh yeah, he's the captain, all right. He didn't want to listen to Dylan cry. I love it. We can just see these comments pop up in real time. That's awesome. Oh yeah, I'm sure there's going to be some. I'm sure there was some crap talking after the race, but I do gotta say,
Dylan's not like the nicest guy, but no one in that whole I don't even think he got hit one time. He was just cruising the whole time. He must be really greasing some wheels there in the pits. Is all I can say.
Yeah,
But I
greasing
mean,
something.
kudos to him. He did have that car on rails, and really wasn't. Sometimes he pushes the car too hard. I think like he doesn't realize how far out ahead he is, or he
Yeah.
starts making seem like hurried decisions, and he looked a lot more comfortable there.
Yeah. Yeah, and I do gotta say, hats off to them guys. Them guys were working on that car though, all all winter long. I would get pictures from Dylan or, his dad worked really hard on that car too, and they put in a lot of time on that car. And when you put that much time into something, it has to feel great to start off with a win though.
Yeah, I mean, you got to understand what they call shop time, though, is literally standing around looking at the car and just drinking beer with with each other. I don't know how much work actually gets done in that shop, especially by Dylan. I know Tony's probably cracking away at it, but
Oh, Tony had to work his tail off. He told me all about it. I went over there and looked at it before the race, and Tony goes, "Oh man, I did more work on this car than I ever have to a Derby car or anything like that." He said, "I put in hours, man, hours," and I was just waiting, to see what would have unfolded if old Corey would have passed Dylan on that last lap. I could have just hear it now, you know. Yeah, Dylan says he just takes pictures of Dad working, and we have, yeah, Dylan sits in the car and makes noises. So that's about as far as that went. But man, Corey Burton has to feel confident about his. That's two. These two took first in Fulton and second. First 1-2 in Fulton. It rolled right over to opening night. They've got to feel really good about everything that's transpiring from their shop time and how the cars are working and their track performance. Oh yeah, Robbie, they're on them. That's what happens when you win. They just get on you like that. But I think all them comments on this podcast that you're seeing are all in good fun for sure. And there's a camaraderie in this sport that it's second to none. These guys just give each other crap, but
and with Dylan's knee pads, there's a bunch of camaraderie with him and the other drivers. But like, I don't know if you noticed. I know we talked about Dylan and Corey kind of coming from mid to back pack and coming up and almost getting lapped, but Nate Dummermuth started dead or on the back row, I guess. Worked his way all the way. I think he was in third place at one point. Really even kind of just piggybacking on his Conti, how he was just getting on it, man on a mission, shooting gaps that probably only he and a few other drivers could shoot. He worked his tail off to get up to fourth.
Yeah, that was a solid top 5 finish for Nate, and he was letting that thing sing through the center, and that was something that I love seeing out of him when he starts driving like that, and you can tell he's getting back in that zone of just competing at that ultimate level. And he's seeing things that a lot of other people don't see transpiring on the track, and he puts his pedal down and he finds those gaps that he sees them opening before they're even open, and that just comes with experience and seat time, and he's still showing that he's still got it. Johnny Egger did a great job. Car looked like it was hooking up super good. I don't know what. So it looked like Joshua Craig had a really good race going for a while, and then I don't know what happened. I think he like parked on a tire or something. I'm not sure what happened out there, but there was a concerning moment for me during that race, and it's when you see someone's helmet come out of the car. Um, it's something as a fan of the sport or something, we don't want to see that. And I know it's a heat of a moment type thing, but for me, that was concerning. Uh, Part of the race. I don't know if you've seen any of that happen, but um, to me, that was a concerning part of the race. But he had a good run going before that happened, uh, and I just think it was a little frustration. But another notable thing, Blaine Tobin had a good race going as well, and Landon Dow getting top 5. He was driving that new car. It looked like he was getting more comfortable with it as the night went on, and it was a strong showing for the IMR guys overall. So, how many cars were on the lead lap? Do you remember?
I don't. 6 maybe. I think Youngmeyer was just on the tail end. I think he ended up 6th.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty good for the first night, having 6 cars on the lead lap, and especially with the way these guys were. It looked like some of the race just was opening up for some of them guys, so it was really smooth. Like I went back and watched Dylan's race, and he never really got caught up in any traffic or anything. Just one of those nights where the cards fall for you. But tough night for Dustin Ferguson and Brenton Hodelsharp and Chad Bish. They all broke pretty early on, and just one of those nights. So overall, as far as the A feature went, it was super interesting to watch for me. There was a lot of good racing going on throughout the field. You could watch several really good races throughout the field. So after the feature, we had some powder puff drivers sign up. There was 6 powder puff drivers signed up, and Angie Burton not missing a beat. She come home with the win. Lexus first and getting second, old Queen Lexus. So them 2 are still at the top, and the other drivers are trying to chase them down and knock them off that pole. I don't know. I don't know nothing about the points situation. I see Joshua going through some clipboards. But, it was good to see old Brooklyn Lambert out there. She did good. Jonna Dow came back from 6th all the way to 3rd, so she had a pretty good race. But Angie definitely won that one in tow. And overall at Russellville, the first night of the season, I talked to a bunch of drivers, and I couldn't have been happier with the way things went. I mean, it was everything that you could have wanted for me. I mean, we got to see rollovers, some hard hits, some good racing, pretty good crowd. Weather was perfect, and I don't know what could have went. It really went smooth, I thought. So I just want to thank everybody for showing up. That was without you guys, we couldn't do it, and it was a fun night.
Yeah, I thought it all went pretty smooth. I guess there was some fists being thrown in the pits.
I didn't even see that. I
I say
missed
I
that.
missed all that, but I guess I don't know. I guess the
What
start.
happened with that, peeps? I want to see some comments now.
I missed it all, but I guess there's a couple of different groups that got into it.
Oh man,
Well,
I didn't know about that.
I think there was two separate instances. I think one just came to fist, but there's some words being thrown around a few times. Debbie said if there's ever another full moon, she's calling in sick or bringing a bottle of whiskey or something. Which I'm not sure that'll help anything.
Yeah. She'd be down there starting fights. But yeah, I forgot about that. I do remember Andy saying something about that when I was putting up one of them polls. But overall, you got to be. I mean, did you feel pretty good about everything though?
Yeah, I mean the season kind of snuck up on me, and I know it snuck up on a few drivers from what I hear. And it's not car count's kind of been down from what we've seen in the last few years, at least for the season opener. But I'll take quality over quantity any day. There's some damn good races. The feature race came down to some guy letting somebody else win. Could have passed him on the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 corners, and there's some good races in there. A couple consies came down to it, hard hits. No one was really bitching at me, which that's always a good thing. So, yeah,
I do have to ask you.
There wasn't a lot of real big surprises, and everybody's comfortable with the rule sets and starting to build to them and starting to push different areas, and cars are coming around for sure.
Yeah, but I do have to tell you, I bet it was 3 seconds. It's probably 30 seconds after I climbed off that announcer stand. I seen some new faces come up to me and said, "Dude, we're going to be at New Bloomfield." They're showing me pictures of cars. One guy bought a car on Marketplace while he was at the figure 8. He said, "I'm going to pick it up tomorrow. I'm stripping that thing out." And he goes, "Where do I find the rules?" And I told him, "Go to the Lucky Sevens Promotions, website there, and they got all the rules. It's real easy to find, and just do your best." And so we will have some newcomers, I'm sure, at this next show. So I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, I guess being on our side, you get to hear some really cool stories. So there was somebody that went to Fulton the first show in June, and really liked it. Then came to the second show there at the end of the year, and been messaging us. There's actually 2 different people from that area, so they came all the way down from Fulton to Russellville. They said, "Man, we just love this crap. We're gonna follow you guys all around this summer." So it's just, it's still building. Drivers are still doing their thing. Making fans want to come watch is the big thing. So it's cool to hear that people are traveling to go watch. They don't know anybody. They just like to watch them do it. So
yeah, and before you got on here, I was like, man, these kids, man, just to see that sparkle in their eye, every single one of them kids were just pumped, and that was my favorite thing. I mean, I got out of that car to go announce, and Rayleigh goes, "Dad, I'm gonna win one of these by the end of the year. We need new tires." She goes, "I'm pumped. This was freaking awesome." And she goes, "Yeah." And then I'm walking through the pits, and you see all the parents high-fiving their kids, and the kids are, "That was so cool, man." And it was just, to me, that was my highlight of the evening. Them kids, seeing the amount of excitement in their eyes and faces, and just their body language was second. I mean, that was freaking awesome to me. And I was just happy to be able to be on the track to experience that moment with of hitting a tire with my kid, and uh, but overall, I thought it was a really good night.
For sure.
Lucky Sevens mascot coming soon. Hell yeah.
Put Austin Rourke in that.
Bring back the Frisbees.
We still got them. We'll probably pull that off at New Bloomfield. Yeah, the youth thing was awesome. Watching those kids and it's like they're getting freaking good. Like Colt and Rayleigh both ran, pretty good races, finished back of the pack. And it's like, Hunter and the white boy came up and you're like, man, we were flying. There's no way we got fourth and fifth. It's like, I mean, you guys did. And we sat and watched the video, and they're like, yeah, we did. And there's competition there is getting better, and it's it's awesome to see that just across the board. And there's no better driving experience, father and son, or father and daughter even.
Yeah. Oh, that was fun. That's probably the most fun I've had in a car. I mean, she was hitting everything in sight, but it was probably the most fun I've had in a car in a long time. And just every time she'd hit someone, she'd be like, you could hear her say, oops, just keep on going. Yeah, she hit that tire and she goes, where'd that come from?
Who put that there?
Then after the race, we're driving through the pits and she's taking off her helmet. She just floors it as she's taking off her helmet. You can just see the mud and the stuff's going up on both sides of the car, and I'm sitting there holding the e-brake like, stop.
Yeah, I watched that video on Facebook of you rolling through the pits and putting it on the trailer. I'm like, oh man, I thought she was going straight through.
Oh, we about did. Yeah. It's like, break. That was her first time loading it up, She goes, I don't know how to do this. I said, you'd be fine. I was like, oh, thank God she didn't hit the gas instead of the brake. That's her biggest problem. But yeah. How are the trophies there?
They were something different. I mean, the Lions Club, like they were like crystal something or something like that. I'm not sure.
I didn't see what they were, but I seen a couple pictures. I didn't know what they were. So.
Oh, I see Zach's comment. Make trophies great again. That, Zach, you gotta run to even get a trophy, and whenever you do run, you don't even get a trophy. So I don't know why you're worried about it.
I hear there's a new lawn company in New Bloomfield that may sponsor them. But overall, it was a good night, and I was just happy to see everybody again. It's good to be back out there and seeing some stuff like that. And, but I can't wait for the next one. Our next show is going to be in New Bloomfield, and sweet one of that.
I didn't know they gave out trophies for 5th place.
Oh, he got second. I think it was last year bash. Oh, he got second, didn't he?
I'm giving him shit.
Oh, okay.
I know he didn't win, but he's still my favorite. He's still my favorite Burton brother.
But
you put Zach in Corey's car, I got no doubt there would be a Burton winning there in Russellville last weekend.
Ooh. Well, he would have took out Dylan, I'm sure.
Oh, I promise you that.
But yeah, the next show is in New Bloomfield, Missouri. Um, it's like the Martinsville of the figure eight world. It's a smaller track, but it's always some good action. These comments are killing me. But I'm trying to see when that is.
May something, 17th.
Yeah, May 17th. I knew that. Oh, before we get off here, shout out to Bent and Twisted Media. They took some awesome pictures. Did you see that? Them pictures from Bent and Twisted?
Yeah. They do. She does a great job. She's been doing it for the last year or so. It's awesome to see them, hop aboard. They wanted to sponsor, and I was like, what do you want? She goes, I just want to support you guys. So, go support her. Check out the pictures. Make them Facebook profile pictures or background or whatever. Tell her thank you for coming out. She's she's really supporting the sport, and I'm loving it.
Yeah, that was some awesome pictures. I messaged Gina, I believe is the one that takes those, and asked her what it'd take to use a couple of them pictures for my Facebook page, and she said just take them. She didn't even have them watermarked or nothing, but I was ready to, fork over some money if I needed to. I really enjoyed some of those pictures, and just awesome for the sport. It helps grow it, and it's people like that. It just help keep pushing the sport along and helping it get to some new heights. So, anything that we know about coming up? You have anything coming up?
Yeah, so I guess there's the Lucas Oil Enduro races this weekend. Weekend after that's Lebanon, indoor derby.
Yep,
and
I'll be
then I
there
know a
too.
couple guys, our guys are running that. I think Jacob Nichols. I got a car. I might just show up again. Who knows? And
never know with you.
Yeah, then it's New Bloomfield and then Border Wars.
Yeah, we're excited for that one too. But yep, just thank you all for keeping the engagement up throughout the podcast. This was a really cool experience. I wanted to see how the new system worked out, and it looks like everything worked really good, and everyone was receptive to the new change. And appreciate you guys waiting on me. But like I said, I will have a podcast every week. We will have some guests next week, and be sure to fire it up and ask them some questions if you want, and they'll just pop up right on the screen for them to see. So,
who you got coming on next week?
I don't know yet. Surprise.
Ideas.
Huh?
So I got some ideas.
Oh, okay. Good. But any last words?
No, just just again, we're so blessed to have the drivers and the following and the staff and the crew we have, and just the drivers, and we're lucky. Even the Lions clubs and the fairs boards we work with, we're just lucky. I mean, everyone is seems like we're rocking and rolling, and sports getting better, drivers are getting better, fans are loving it more and more, and just can't thank everybody enough for everything they do, and just thankful.
Yep. And I want to say one more thing. So my YouTube page, my Facebook page, and my TikTok page has hit new heights, and stay tuned because giveaways are coming. And also, I am working on some special stuff for the end of the year for you guys that continue to show up. Still working with some custom trophies companies on this, but at the end of the year, for those that put on a show, I've got something for you. But I just want to say thank you all from bottom of my heart for all the support. It's really helping me out, continuing to go. I was able to obviously upgrade to this new system, and I'm liking what I see, and I just want to continue to give back to the sport, and we've got some stuff coming, ladies and gentlemen. Just stay tuned. That's all I got to say from the Crashed It side. But if anyone's got any 14-inch V treads, I am looking. I need some grippy tires for my daughter, and she really wants to see if she can compete with some better tread. And we're going to see if those work better for her, because she was complaining about everybody else taking off faster than her. So we might have to build her a new car by the end of the year. Who knows? But thank you all for all your support. It's been a good one. If you be sure to reach out if you have any questions, or if you want to be on the podcast. I'm going to start making a schedule of guests up. So if you want to come on the podcast, tell us your story about how you got into Demolition Derby or figure eight racing. We'd love to have you on and talk with you. Thank you all for coming, and don't forget to go out there and send it.